Dust devils dance across the valley of Elah, a gritty haze distorting the horizon. Under the harsh Sunday, a vast Philistine army sprawls across the landscape, their bronze armor and steel weapons glinting with menacing intent. The sunlight reflects off a sea of sharpened spears, a silent promise of impending violence. Across the valley, the Israelite army cowers on the ridge, their faces etched with fear and apprehension. Each soldier's gaze is fixed on the formidable foe, a collective dread hanging heavy in the air. Goliath, a giant clad in bronze armor, approaches the edge of the ravine. His shadow falls across the valley as he surveys the Israelites. His voice explodes across the landscape, a terrifying challenge echoing through the air. "Send out your champion," Goliath bellows, his words dripping with disdain. "Let him face me in single combat!" he roars, daring any among them to defy him. Inside Saul's tent, despair hangs heavy as King Saul sits trembling on his throne, his face a mask of dread. The silence is broken only by the hushed whispers of his advisors, their faces etched with anxiety. A palpable sense of doom permeates the air, suffocating any hope within the tent. Saul's eyes dart around, reflecting the crushing weight of his fears and uncertainties. Young David arrives in the valley of Elah, a woven basket brimming with bread and cheese clutched in his hands. He pauses at the crest of a small hill, the wind fiercely whipping through his hair. Goliath's booming taunts echo across the valley, shaking the very ground beneath David's feet. The sound of the giant's voice seems to physically harden David. His youthful face sets with a grim resolve. A determined glint flashes in his eyes as he steels himself for what lies ahead. In the valley of Elah, bathed in sunlight, David strides forward with unwavering resolve etched on his youthful face. He approaches his brothers, seasoned soldiers whose expressions blend amusement with disdain. The brothers erupt, their mocking laughter echoing through the valley. "What are you doing here, David? Run back to tending sheep, boy," they sneer, their voices dripping with condescension. David stands firm, his eyes blazing with righteous anger. Who is this uncircumcised Philistine, that he should defy the armies of the living God? He challenges, his voice ringing with fearless conviction. Inside Saul's tent, a youthful David stands with unwavering resolve, his face set with determination. The tent is dimly lit, shadows dancing around them, highlighting the gravity of the moment. David's voice rings out, clear and strong, cutting through the heavy atmosphere. "Let no one lose heart on account of this Philistine," he declares, his gaze fixed and challenging. "I will go and fight him," David asserts, the words hanging in the air like a promise. Saul's face reveals a battle between skepticism and a desperate hope as he holds out his own armor to David. David accepts the heavy armor, gratitude and apprehension swirling in his gaze. He struggles with the unfamiliar metal, the weight of it pressing down on him, a foreign burden. "I cannot go in these, because I am not used to them," David declares, his movement restricted, feeling trapped within the heavy plating. In the vast valley of Elah, David descends, a lone figure against the backdrop of looming hills. Armed with only a staff and a simple sling, he carries the weight of destiny on his young shoulders. 5 smooth stones, gathered from the riverbed, glint in the sunlight, each a symbol of unwavering resolve. Confidence radiates from him as he strides forward, a beacon of courage in the face of overwhelming odds. Goliath's booming laughter erupts, shaking the ravine and dwarfing David with his immense size. A mountain of muscle and armor, Goliath gestures with his spear, sunlight flashing menacingly along its sharp point, his voice dripping with scorn. Goliath bellows, "Am I a dog that you come at me with sticks?" The challenge hangs in the air, the fate of 2 armies balanced on the edge of a ravine. In the stark expanse of the ravine, David stands resolute, his gaze unflinching as he confronts Goliath. The wind whispers through the chasm, carrying the scent of dry earth. The air is thick with anticipation of the impending battle. David's voice cuts through the tense silence, echoing with unwavering conviction. You come against me with sword and spear and javelin, but I come against you in the name of the Lord Almighty, the God of the armies of Israel, whom you have defied. His words hang in the air, a challenge hurled against the giant. At the ravine's edge, David prepares his sling, his movements precise and practiced. The sling whirls, gathering momentum, a deadly dance against the backdrop of the rising Sunday. With a sharp release, the stone hurtles forward, a fleeting shadow against the bright sky. Silence descends as the projectile finds its mark, the morning air still with anticipation. High above, a stone hurtles through the air, finding its mark with deadly accuracy. Goliath's eyes widen in disbelief as the impact reverberates through his massive frame. The giant's triumphant roar abruptly dies in his throat, replaced by a guttural gasp. His immense body begins to sway, a towering tree about to fall. With a ground-shaking thud, Goliath crashes to the earth, his shadow vanishing as he falls. David sprints towards the ravine, his figure a silhouette against the bright daylight. He pauses, standing triumphant over the colossal form of the fallen giant. A moment of stunned silence hangs in the air as David surveys the scene. With newfound resolve, David grips the hilt of Goliath's massive sword. Sunlight glints off the cold steel as he raises the weapon, a symbol of his improbable victory. In a blur of motion, David raises his sword high above the ravine. With a single, decisive stroke, he brings it down, severing Goliath's head. The giant's lifeless head falls heavily to the earth, kicking up dust and echoing the finality of the act. A collective gasp of horror ripples through the Philistine army, their faces etched with disbelief and terror. Across the valley of Elah, the Philistine army crumbles, their formations dissolving into a chaotic scramble. Panic-stricken soldiers abandon their weapons, desperate to escape the wrath descending upon them. The Israelites, once frozen in terror, now erupt in a triumphant roar, their fear replaced by righteous fury. A surge of warriors spills onto the valley floor, a relentless wave of vengeance unleashed. Swords gleam in the sunlight as the Israelites pursue their fleeing enemies, their cries echoing through the valley. The ground trembles beneath the feet of the charging army, a testament to their newfound courage and resolve. The valley of Elah, once shadowed by fear, now echoes with the exultant shouts of the Israelites. David stands tall amidst the celebrating throng, a beacon of courage and faith. His arm rises, holding aloft the grisly trophy of victory, Goliath's severed head. The sun glints off the giant's dark hair, a stark symbol of the triumph of the underdog. A wave of renewed vigor sweeps through the Israelite ranks at the sight of their oppressor's defeat. David's eyes reflect the fiery spirit of a nation reborn, a testament to unwavering belief.